top floor. Tips from the top, alright. From the top floor.
Hello? Anyone out there? Hey, psst. I'm here. That is literally my biggest fear right now. Hey, I'm Chris. This is my biggest fear right now, that you guys are all gone. Because I haven't done this for, I don't know, a year? But actually longer than a year. But it looks like the tips from the top floor. See, I even forgot how to speak because I haven't done it in such a long time, which is a kind of a lie. We'll get to that. But yeah, no, I don't really know how to record this show anymore. No. Anyway, yeah, this is Tips from the Top Floor, TFTTF, and we are going to talk photography, and the show will, yeah, it'll mostly be the stuff that you're used to, but then as always, I'm trying to mix it up. I'll branch out a bit into other topics that I discuss on some of my other podcasts. So yeah, photography, main focus, obviously, but a few of the things that I've done over the last year is, for example, I started a magazine here in Germany called CM Magazin, CM as in my initials, CM Magazine. This is how can I describe this? It's a magazine where I'm a person with a lot of different interests. You might have noticed that over the years. One of those interests is photography. It's very strong in me, but then there's other things that have either emerged recently or that I've always been kind of interested in, things that are shaping our future. And I'm talking about things like artificial intelligence, automation, mobility, especially the one with the angry pixies, space. I'm a space nerd, and that whole thing sometimes gets together with photography and other areas. So I have a lot of interests, and I am from time to time gonna bring a couple of those in here. Now, again, mainly those that are somewhat relevant to photography, but hey, you never know. So, but then over the last, I don't know, 16, 17 years, if you've been listening, you will remember that I do my thing, and that includes branching out into different areas. Yeah, topics that I've been talking about on the CM magazine, for example, the one thing that fits here really well is the whole area of image generating AIs. We're talking DALL-E 2, we're talking Imagen by Google, we're talking Midjourney, we're talking even DALL-E Mini, even though that is being rebranded right now. But there are a lot of tools now that you can, well, if you get on their betas, that they are emerging right now, and then you can tell them what kind of a picture you want, and they make it for you. Not easy. It requires a different set of skill. That's the kind of stuff I want to talk about here, the implications of that for, I don't know, stock photographers and so on. So that, I think, is relevant enough to talk about it on here. What else? Well, the whole field of AI, GPT-3, the writing assistants that have been emerging, the developments in this area, the I don't know what kind of topics, algorithms. We live in a time where photography is more and more, I don't know, AI supported, or doesn't necessarily have to be AI, algorithmic supported. Just look at your smartphone. Your smartphones are, yeah, they are quite capable machines, and you can see this in the sales of compact cameras. They just don't sell anymore. DSLRs, mirrorless, how are the big companies going to compete against Apple, Android, and so on? There's a lot going on. So it's definitely going to become part of Tips from the Top Floor. Then let's see. Well, that'll be one of the sources, one of my information sources here. And there's a few more. I do this other podcast called The Future of Photography, which is literally about the future of photography. I do this together with Jeremiah Chechik and Adrian Stock, almost on a weekly basis. So I'm pretty sure some of you have found that and taken a look. It's on YouTube. It's also on. It's also a regular podcast to listen to. Of course, I do my weekly Happy Shooting. That is now accompanied by a bi-weekly, again in German, show about more of a YouTube-centric show where we do a lot of shows and tells and look at people's and discuss people's photos, that kind of stuff. And then there's Curiously Polar still, which is the North and South Pole related, Antarctic related show that Mario and Henry and I have been doing for a while now, which still continues because that is still an area of interest here. So that's the kind of stuff you can expect from TFTTF going forward. So let's dive in. I have 3 things here that I want to briefly talk about. And one is an AMA, an Ask Me Anything. That's a format on Reddit, which, companies, people, famous people do those every now and then. And one has been done by lensrentals.com. If you're in the US, you will know them. I'm not affiliated with them. This is not a sponsor. I do not have any sponsors for this episode, but I'm open. And it was just funny. I'm going to link that in the show notes. It was just funny because some of the questions there I found interesting or funny. I mean, one of the questions was, you guys have obviously used and fixed a lot of lenses. Do you have any thoughts on the internal versus external zooming lenses debate? Realistically, is there a significant risk of dust getting into the lens and impacting optical performance? And I do get this question a lot because people are afraid of dust impacting their photos. And the dust that gets into the lens is a very special category of dirt on your photos because it doesn't show up on the photos. And one of the answers here by Joey from Lens Rentals is, I get to personally check all the lenses where the customer complained that they could see dust inside the lens showing up in their images. And I'm here to tell you, in 11 years, I've never once confirmed that any dust I could find inside a lens showed up. It was always sensor dust. And I've been saying this for ages. The lens, there's no focus. The picture is not focused in the lens. It's focused way before, in front of the lens, and of course on the sensor. So that's the areas where dust can have an impact. And of course, if the dust is far out, then it's part of the picture. Then you might be taking a picture of a dust devil. Of course, that's the kind of dust you want in your photo. But then, the dust on the lens, on the sensor, absolutely can show up in a photo. It doesn't always. Depends on the size of your aperture, the kind of light. Smaller apertures make that dust more visible. But the dust inside the lens doesn't count. It's only there to trigger your OCD, but it's not going to do anything to the photo. And another answer to that question from another employee was, all lenses have moving elements and those elements move air. Therefore, all lenses get dust. All. If you don't see dust, your light isn't bright enough. So just get used to that idea of dust being inside your lens, because that's not avoidable. What else? Oh yeah. Next question. What's the least believable or most unusual explanation you've seen for gear returned with damage? top answer, the bear attack wasn't believable until we saw the pictures of the bear. So yeah, a bear, I think, chewed up a camera and a lens, and they took pictures with their phones of the bear. And yeah, I wouldn't believe that. All right, what else? Oh yeah, another question. I remember you had an article about damaged items from the 2017 solar eclipse. Have there been any other high rental events that have resulted in large quantities of equipment loss or damage? Answer: Burning Man is an annual damage fest for us. I've never been to Burning Man, but I've seen pictures. Sand, people that might be, I don't know, not too careful with the cameras. That's why I think that's why they force you to also pay for insurance when you get a camera. Because, yeah. And then, one interesting one was the most rented lenses and cameras. This is a current AMA, so I would have expected something like, I don't know, the latest, biggest Sony's mirrorless or Canon mirrorless cameras. Most rented camera is still the Canon 5D Mark IV. All right, well, DSLR, I guess the kind of people who would rent from a company like that are likely more on the professional side, and that kind of shows. And then the most rented lens, again, one I kind of expected this, is again from Canon, the 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8 IS, which is focal length range with a wide aperture and a big image stabilizer in it. That is, you don't need this kind of a lens every day. You will, and it's so expensive that it's probably worth renting. So that makes a lot of sense. And the second one that they rent, the second most rented out lens, is the Canon 24 to 70 f2.8. So no big surprises there. If you want to read more about that AMA, the link is, of course, in the show notes. Let's see. Next here, piece of news. Well, is it news? That's my big question, because Leica and Panasonic, they have announced a new brand, a new shared brand called L Squared Technology. And reading their press release there, there's not much information in there. Virtually no information. This isn't even new. I mean, this one is new. They say that they wanna create a new era of creativity for future camera and lens products and software of the next generation, and lots of blah, I think. And yeah, this is not even a new collaboration. I mean, they have done stuff in the past, like Leica and Panasonic together with Sigma, I think. They founded the L-Mount Alliance in 2018. So yeah, we are, well, let's see. It's a new brand, so nothing to see here. And then last but not least, I have a little bit of iPhone stuff here, because, hey, not we all, but quite a few of us use iPhones. And there have been a few changes recently incorporating, making more use of the cameras for things other than just taking photos. I mean, we see features like text detection in images now, which I love. I mean, you point your camera at something and you just copy paste or open a photo and you just copy paste text from that. And the recognition is really good. I mean, very good. And that's cool. So there's an inherent OCR, which I've used a lot. I'm kind of, I don't know, kind of miffed a bit, because in the Photos app, I'm looking at my iPhone right now, in the Photos app, you can't search for text, even though it's in there. It's indexed and everything. But you have to, right now, this is end of June 2022, iOS 15 something, I think. for now, you have to search from Spotlight, not inside the Photos app, which is a bit of an omission. But that will actually change with iOS 16. And there are 2 more things with iOS 16 that I found interesting. And I don't have a beta. I've just read blogs and things. iOS 16 will add probably a few new recognizers, like neural networks that recognize things in photos. And that one is an insect recognizer. So there's an example I've seen where someone points at a butterfly and a little... You know how when you point your camera at a QR code and some additional meta information, a little button pops up that lets you open that. In the case of that butterfly, the little bug icon popped up, and when you tap that, you get a way to identify that insect. And just a few weeks ago, I had to use one of these like AI-based recognizers, not built in, but I was Monica and I were on a walk, and there was a bird, and we heard the same type of bird many times, but we couldn't really. We're no ornithologists, so we couldn't really point to what that was, what kind of a bird that was, and I downloaded. I think it's called BirdNet. And that you do make a little recording and then sends it up to the server, and their neural network compares it with a whole bunch of others and tells you what it is. And that was spot on. That was really good. That's the kind of stuff that will sooner or later be replaced. That's the kind of apps that will be Sherlocked by something like the iPhone. I'm not sure about Birdsong, but yeah, insects. Point it at a bug and it'll tell you if you can eat it or not. Another one that I'm kind of excited about is the ability, again, coming up with iOS 16, and I'm pretty sure not with every hardware. I think it needs the neural chips or something in there, so I'm not sure where the cutoff is, but a new one is a subject cutout. You can point at a subject in a photo and just hold your finger on there for a second, and then that'll pop out, and you can save it or drag and drop it into another app. And it's like, I think it works really well. From what I've seen, again, I've only seen videos. From what I've seen, it works apparently really well with people, which is kind of obvious. So take a picture of someone and drop them in front of a different background. I'm not sure how good the quality is, but for like day-to-day stuff or for a little fun thing that you needed a whole bunch of apps for in the past, that is quite cool. Pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. So I guess that's it for today. Still warming up again. Still trying to get everything sorted. And I've actually worked on the recording infrastructure here. You wouldn't believe it, but this thing has been recorded on an iPhone. And I'm really happy with like the whole recording thing and the microphones you can hook up to an iPhone now. That whole stuff has made a few jumps, and that should help get this show out in the future more often again. Can't promise weekly. I'm shooting for that though. But it's kind of good to be back. So, with that, let's get our old friend Hans-Peter Keggerud in here. And that was it for this episode of Tips from the Top Floor. Good to be back. Thanks for listening. You guys are awesome. If you've been listening, again, I'm worried that no one is listening to this anymore. That your podcast players have taken TFTTF out because no new episodes are coming. It's something like that. Hey, let me know. Get in contact.
I remember that you said it ain't as easy as it seems. Makes it easier to leave it all behind. No matter where you go,
There are several ways to contact me. Of course, the best one is voice@tfttf.com. Voice@tfttf.com. You can send your voicemails there, send emails there. And yeah, just let me know. Are you guys still out there? Please.
It's all a question of faith. It's what
Of course, there's a Twitter account that hasn't been fed in a while. TFTTF Photo. TFTTF PHOTO. Follow that. I'm planning to put announcements there and other stuff. So, yeah, Twitter. TFTTF Photo.
but I'm still a man. I remember that I told you there'd be
Also, let me know if the announced mix of content and topics is interesting for you, or if that'll make you go, don't need any AI talk. DALL-E, Mini, blah.
leave it all behind. Don't matter where you go. Don't matter where you go.
Anyway, I'm out of here. And yeah, if you're still here, hey, thanks for being here. My name is Chris Marquardt. You can find me at chrismarquardt.com. And of course, you can find this whole show at tfttf.com. Yeah, I'll be back soon. Big promises. Let's see where this goes. I'm out of here. You guys take care. Go out and take amazing photos. Be nice to each other. And happy shooting.
I remember